I'm Rebecca Firth, and I'm the Exec Director of Humanitarian OpenStreetMap team, also known as HOT.
My name's Caroline Harper, and I'm the CEO of Sightsavers.
My name is Ashif Shaikh. I'm founder and CEO of People's Courage International.
Building your internal systems so that your organization is sustainable after a windfall is absolutely critical, and it's a really important thing to start doing in year one. Often you think, let's say I'm getting a windfall and it's going to sustain my programs for 5 years. You think, okay, maybe in year 4 or 5, that's when we'll start thinking about sustainability. But you really need to think about it in year one. You need to figure out your end game, your business model that are going to sustain you well into the future. And you need to build the infrastructure to move towards that right from the beginning, whether that's systems, processes, or key skill sets that you need to develop in your team to actually get there in the long run.
One thing that you have to be willing to do as an organisation is do pilots which may fail. Now, that's something a lot of nonprofits are terrified of. Oh my gosh, won't the donors be unhappy? Won't it be seen as a waste? But frankly, if you're going to try new things, if you're not prepared to let some of them fail, I would argue you're probably not being bold enough and you're not taking enough risk. And sometimes you do need to do that with unrestricted money. But we've done a few things like that. Some of the rather cool things we've been doing in eye health, around some apps that we've been using. And I'm no expert in any of this stuff, I have to admit. But we have experimented with a few things which can then potentially go to scale if they work out. We did a lot a few years ago when we were learning new mapping techniques for infectious diseases. And we tried a few really cool things. Not everything worked, but some things really did. And that enabled us to map much more broadly, much more quickly, with much better data. And also then integrate some of our systems with ministry systems to enable, well, to help the ministries basically improve their own management information systems. So I think that's the biggest thing, piloting things, trying a few things out, and not being afraid if they don't all work.
Figuring out how to scale with partners rather than just scaling yourself is a really important part of sustainability. It will help you do more with the smaller team that you have rather than continually adding more people and ending up in a position where you feel your organization isn't necessarily sustainable anymore. What's really important to think about is what's the right thing to scale through or with a partner versus on an internal team is how critical is this to the operation itself? If it doesn't work, what is the fallout of that? And for how long am I expecting to need to do this thing? Is this something I need to achieve in the next 1, 2 years to unlock a critical step in my strategy? Or is this something I think I'm going to need to do every single month, every single year for 5 years in a row?
So we always believe in soul and scale. So sometimes when people are thinking about the scale, they thought, okay, we will use the technology, we will scale our program, and they lose the soul. And sometimes people wanted to do very intensive work in few villages, like in a 5 villages, people very intensively working, and their work is very deeper, and they always focus on soul. And basically in our organization, we try to focus on both the things, soul as well as the scale. And basically in that context, we need a very diverse team to do both the kind of like the work.
Collaborating with others is a really critical way to extend the reach of your organization and reach that scale that you might want to get to with your windfall. For HOT, then collaborating with volunteers has been a really critical way to do that. We have 750,000 volunteers in our mapping community, and some of them map, some of them do more technical work, but some of them also focus on community engagement. So they're trying to get more mappers to the table, get more partners, get more examples of mapping working in practice. And that's an amazing way to extend the size and reach of the volunteer community without having to extend your staff team. They might do things like run working groups that have a clear terms of reference, that have a budget, that have staff allocated to pick up on and work on the things that the working group recommend, which gives them real mandate, real voice in how your organization is being run, as well as giving them the chance to be part of that scaling journey.
We are not very interested to scale one organization or my organization, but we are more interested to scale our mission. And in that context, we need to engage with different organizations. And basically, if we receive large funding, we can easily deploy the funding because we are not implementing the all program. We have about 150 different kind of partner organization in our ecosystem, like the civil society organization, but we are also working with the private sector organization. We are also working with the government. We are also working with the investor community and the different kind of like the stakeholders. So basically, in our migration program, lots of donor came and supported our initiative, and basically our the funds increased by 20 times, for example. But still we manage very easily and very well because we believe in the idea of scaling the mission and not the organization.
If you've received a windfall, it can be really difficult to move from a scarcity mindset to an abundance mindset. But there are a lot of things that can be administratively quite challenging that a windfall can help you to solve. Things like working with travel agencies or working with recruitment agencies. I really think it's important to consider those if you are receiving a windfall that involves any type of scaling.
When we talk about systems that need to last, I mean the people and the way you're structured. And we've flirted a couple of times with federal structures. A lot of NGOs are organised that way, where they'll have almost autonomous local organisations with their own boards. They'll have a secretariat, and they'll try and have absolute consensus everywhere. And all that happens then, we've seen, is it's very difficult to make decisions. By the time you've reached absolute consensus, the opportunity has passed. And so what we've done is quite different. Our countries are all full of nationals. We don't have any expats, but those country directors have direct access right up to the organisation to the top. I can pick up a phone to a country director, or they to me if they need to. And then we have cross-organisational groups that we can call together really quickly, that are well established if opportunities arise, to get the right people together to talk, to make decisions, to be reactive. And I think we've set up those, if you like, systems. They are people systems, decision-making systems and processes, which will last, I believe. Yes, you'll need to tweak them, but they will then be ready for the next opportunity, or indeed the next disruption.